Good afternoon and welcome back to another ironic introduction to another video. Now, I didn't do a Path 3 of Abyss of Legends planning, and I apologize for that. I did do the planning, I just didn't do a video, but I wanted to show the results real quick for those of you who've been kind of keeping up with how that went for me. So I had a lot of fights that went really well, and some fights not so much. This time around, I brought Magneto, Aegon, Torch, Warlock, and Doom. Now, I wanted to bring Warlock for Havoc. I brought Magneto for Red Skull, and then after that, it's Aegon, Torch, and Doom, kind of your standard Horseman approach. So for Darkhawk, I ended up using Magneto this time around, and I kept on doing the fight over and over again until I got more than 50% of his health in one run. Now, you can one-shot Darkhawk with Magneto if you're a better player than I am. I'm not a good or consistent player, specifically when it comes to that parry-heavy playstyle. I miss parries eventually, and then I just die, especially in Abyss where the stun happens. Now, when I ran Masteries through this path, I ran a maxed deep wounds and 3 points in assassin setup because that's how many points of assassin I have maxed out. It's a pretty standard mastery setup. Abyss masteries are not overly complicated. You can switch back and forth between, assassin and attrition and however you want to do it, but it's really not like super serious. You just pretty much grab the most amount of damage you can, flesh out the points elsewhere. So after taking Darkhawk with Magneto, which is essentially a series of build up to Special 2 and then only launch SP3s, knocking him down through stealth on the SP2 and then knocking him down so he's in the shield phase, you get a bunch of heal reversal. Pretty simple fight. I did record and upload it. I took Luke Cage down with Aegon. Now this was by far, even more expensive than the Collector, the worst fight I had. It took me 28 revives. Part of that is because my Aegon was not ramped up. You can see that when I used Aegon on Darkhawk, it took me a collective 26 revives between the two. But it also is because significantly worse this time around, I played the fight way worse. So I think when I go back in for Path 4, I'm still going to take Aegon versus Luke Cage because these first 10 revives on this fight, I literally jumped into the fight, got off like 20 hits, and then died. It was a really bad time. I don't know what was going through my brain, but after 10 revives, I put the phone down, I walked away, I came back, and then it only took me 18 revives to take him down the next time around, which is still a lot for Aegon versus Luke Cage, but it was much better. So I'm hoping when I have to take down this Luke Cage for the third time that I can do it in less than 20 revives. That's the goal. After that, I took Old Man Logan with Torch. This took me 3 revives because I kept accidentally letting my Incinerates drop because I was going into Nova on accident. So the biggest thing here is you want to use the SP1 to kind of juggle below Nova. You don't want to go into 20 on your like ramp up or your flame on charges for Torch. I don't know what they're called, I apologize. Because then you'll go into Nova accidentally from the Incinerate sticking, and then it's a bad time because once you lose your full heal reversal and your proper heal prevention, Old Man Logan heals crazy fast, and it's a bad time, and that caused me to panic a couple times, and so I ended up losing the fight just by taking like a special to the face. Still, 3 revives was pretty good. I jumped into Havoc with Warlock. The first revive I completely wasted because I wasn't playing the fight properly. I was afraid of the plasma charges, and I forgot that armor up from Warlock completely nullifies that. But after that, you go into this essentially heavily re-parry playstyle. And the reason this hurts so much, because Warlock can one-shot this Havoc fairly easily, is because every time I was reparrying, if he double mediumed, you don't get the stun, and then I would charge heavy thinking I got the stun, that's pretty much what happens. You get pummeled in the face. So what I started doing and what I did by the second time I took down this Havoc, which is way down here and it only cost me 3 revives, is I would double parry and then I would light attack. Because no matter what, whether you got the stun or you didn't get the stun, double parry, light attack on Havoc will always let you get that light attack in. And it gives you just an extra 1 second or so to react, to understand, hey, did I get the stun? Charge heavy. Hey, I didn't get the stun? Back off. And because Warlock does really well in the fight anyways, and you get a lot of damage off just through the degeneration and the high sig on Warlock and the power drain, I felt like this was a lot more efficient for me, especially for someone like myself who, isn't necessarily having the best reaction speed. So if you know that about yourself and you're using Warlock for here, I really recommend double parry, light attack. Next up, I took Dormammu with Torch. This is a super easy one-shot with Torch's Awakened ability, making sure you turn off, his pre-fight ability, and make sure you turn off Dex. Super easy. I took Joe Fixit with Aegon. This cost me 11 revives. Again, the main factor here is the fact that my Aegon was really, really, really low combo at this point. I think I only had like 207 or something. So the first 3 fights were just me ramping up a bit and playing poorly, and then the next 8 were me actually getting damage off. I did get super unlucky 6 times out of these 11 revives. Joe Fixit got the health, the permaheal. The way you react with that is you just let him hit you with the heavy and you hope you don't get stunned and you can save the life, but actually out of the 6 I think that only happened to me twice. Kind of unfortunate, but that's just, you know, the rolls that happen in Abyss. Next up, I took Morto with Torch. This ended up costing me 7 revives just because of the amount of times I let him get to a special 3. I didn't play the fight super well. This was on the live stream. I took Venom the Duck with Doom. This cost me 7 revives. I think this was pretty good. I'm okay with that one. Howard the Duck cost me 9. Again, I'm pretty okay with this one. I think you can do it for less, but my Aegon was only at like 500 or so, I think, on the combo carryover, so I'm actually pretty satisfied with the 9 count there. Hyperion I took with 5. I want to get that down to 4, but 5 is really, really good on the damage output there. The Champion I took with 5. Same thing. I want to get this down to consistently 3 like I did later on, but that's just a matter of getting used to the fight and handling the rotation properly. Red Skull I took down with Magneto for 11. I definitely feel like you can get this down to 4 or 5 if you really play it properly. I just wasn't, but even then, Red Skull is one of the most frustrating fights in Abyss, so much so that people literally bring Ronan just for Red Skull, so I'm actually pretty satisfied with an 11 revive count here. I'd say that was pretty good. I took Bishop down with 2 revives or 3 lives on Doom. I spent the first 2 not really understanding how to do the fight, and then finally I went and watched a video and went, oh, I'm so stupid. Jumped in and got the easy one-shot clap. I took Korg down with 5 revives. I think you can do this with 3 or 4, but overall, I'd say I performed really, really well on the Korg. I'm very confident in my ability to Korg down with Doom. Havoc again with Warlock for 3. The Champion again with Doom for 3. Ghost with Aegon with 3. That was really easy, mostly just timing out on hits. Karnak with 2. With Aegon, super fun fight, again, mostly just timing out on hits, and the Collector with 27. Now, I should make the note that on the Collector, I was using all my potions. I had maybe 40 level 3 potions, about 15 level 4 potions, and like 4 level 5 potions. So I didn't have like a massive stash, but I did use those potions in the last like 7 to 9 revives once I got the Collector down to like 40% or so, because that's the point where you really want to get a heavy, unstoppable, big Fury SP2 to bleed. He's got the Rage, he's got the Unstoppable. You really want to get that value off, and healing up is going to make it worth it. Honestly, even if I didn't have the stash of potions, I would recommend reviving and healing 1 potion with the 28 units. I think it's more efficient than just doing multiple 40% revives if you're not running Heimdall. If you are running Heimdall, then do the revive spam, because that extra life is worth so much more. In total, this came out to 138 revives total, which in unit value is 5,520 units. This is actually my cheapest Abyss path so far, I do believe, because path 2 was 8,480. Oh, sorry, not the cheapest. Path 1 was still cheaper, but I did use boosts pretty much the entire Abyss run. After Old Man Logan, from Havoc onwards, I was boosted the whole way, and a big part of that is boosts are just a lot more accessible. So yeah, that is path 3. That's the results. You know, sorry I didn't live stream. Hopefully I'll be able to live stream the 4th path, but I'm really glad that I have path 3 done, and now I'm staring at what is considered the hardest path of Abyss, and I don't know when I'll be ready. That said, as always, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace.